Speed wobble is one of the most frightening things that can happen to you when you're out on a ride. Hopefully you have never experienced it before, but if you have, it's something you are never going to forget. Now, a lot of you have written to us recently asking what causes it and also what you should do if it does happen to you. Now, speed wobble is pretty much exactly what it says. It is a violent and almost uncontrollable oscillation from side to side of your frame and forks, which often occurs at very high speeds. Oh, we did manage to get out of that one. Well done, Si.
That was quite a close run thing. Now, fortunately, I'm pleased to be able to say that we actually haven't experienced speed wobble ourselves for many, many years, but nevertheless, we've been doing our research.
Nobody can be 100% sure as to exactly what causes speed wobble. However, there are a few theories out there at the moment, and the first of those is that your bike is not quite up to scratch. So maybe the two wheels aren't perfectly aligned, so at a certain point they effectively begin to fight against each other. A little bit like you get in a car with badly aligned wheels, where the steering wheel starts to shake at a certain speed.
Now, related to this is the possibility that actually the front end of your bike, or more specifically the top tube, just isn't stiff enough. Now, that's something that's going to be felt more keenly by heavier riders, or those of us that perhaps might sit with too much weight over the back of the bike, so not enough weight over the front wheel. And in those cases, it's actually the front of the bike that's then going to try and rotate or pivot around the seat tube, so where your centre of mass is. Now, it has to be said that modern bikes do tend to be much stiffer than those from the olden days, and so they are less prone intrinsically to speed wobble.
Apparently though, the initiation of speed wobble can actually be down to the rider themselves. So maybe on a cold descent, a little bit like we've got today, you start to shake and shiver ever so slightly, and that can start it. Or it might be that your pedalling style or upper body is slightly more wobbly than most. So what can happen is you might lend a bike to someone having never experienced speed wobble yourself, but they actually might get it.
Added into this is also the fact that the size of your bike and also the geometry of it can also have an effect as well. So something that we've learned from our friends in the world of motorbiking who suffer from speed wobble far worse than us is the head tube angle, and also the trail of the bike is really important. So bikes with a steeper head angle actually feel more twitchy and then suffer from speed wobble far, far worse.
And also, the farther above the main frame of the bike your weight is, apparently the more likely you are to get speed wobble. So if you've got quite a small frame size for your height, and you've got a load of seat pins sticking out, maybe a load of headset spaces here, and even an upward turning stem, you're going to have more flex and more chance of speed wobble. And finally, riding no-handed and therefore having little or no weight at the front end of the bike is also a potential cause of speed wobble, especially if you're going at high speeds. Now, we wouldn't recommend going no-handed at the best of times going down the descent, but especially not if you're prone to a bit of speed wobble.
Okay then, those are the probable causes of speed wobble. Perhaps most importantly though, what do you actually do if you experience it? Given that, bearing in mind, it could actually get so bad that it throws you off your bike, which is, let's face it, the last thing you want to happen at high speed.
Or at slow speed, I guess, as well. One of the first things that you could think about is your weight distribution, which you try and keep centered on your bike and lower your body weight down towards the frame. Some people have also reported success in elevating themselves ever so slightly off the saddle whilst gripping the top tube with their knees.
Yeah, and then a slightly different method, still raising yourself off the saddle slightly, is then to drop your A pedal to the 6 o'clock position and then put your body weight through there. The theory behind that is that that stops the seat tube of your bike from becoming the pivot that we talked about earlier on, and then hopefully stabilising your bike.
Also, try and think about your arms and hands, which should be fairly relaxed, which is not going to be something that you instinctively think of having once you experience speed wobble. So hold onto the bars on the drops here, but not with a vice-like grip. Try and keep your hands fairly relaxed and allow your arms to give the whole system a bit of suspension.
Undoubtedly, one of the first things that's going to go through your mind as you start to experience speed wobble is a strong desire to slow down. And fortunately, that is actually the right thing to do. However, what you don't want to do is jam both brakes on really suddenly. Instead, you want to apply your rear brake only and very gradually, so that you start to scrub off speed and then ultimately come to a complete stop.
Now, hopefully this video will have helped you address some of the issues which can be causing your speed wobble in the first place, or at least help you to get out of it if you do experience it out on your ride. However, we'd love to hear your own experiences with speed wobble and any possible solutions that you could have for us and our viewers too. You can leave those in the comment section just down below. In the meantime, we've got a couple more videos which we think might be relevant for you right now. In the top, just up there, is how to improve your descending.
Yeah, or for a little bit more information about the geometry of your bike, including head angle, trail and so forth, then click just down there.
And to subscribe to the Global Cycling Network, all you've got to do is click on the globe.
I hope people's experiences are largely going to be positive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I not had this horrible crash, more like, oof, you wouldn't believe what I did to get out of speed wobble.
Yeah, did a wheelie.
Fingers crossed.